Today we're going to do a Bandha practice. The Bandhas are 3 locks or restraints. They are an old yoga concept and they're located in the throat. So you slightly close the throat by bringing the chin down towards the chest, and in the center of the solar plexus you restrain there by drawing the belly in and up. Particularly at the end of an exhalation, you do a kind of fake inhalation. And then Mula Bandha, the base lock, is at the pelvic floor. So it's actually between the anus and the sex organs, around the area of the perineum. You draw in and up there. So you have Jalandhara Bandha, the throat lock, Uddiyana Bandha, the diaphragm lock, and Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor lock. Sometimes lock is the wrong word for these. Sometimes it's better to see them as restraints. So we'll think of these as restraints, as ways of exercising self-control, not through controlling but through stepping back. So let's begin in a seated position with the legs crossed, and you can do any of these postures, these seated postures, in a chair if the floor isn't accessible to you. So come to a cross-legged position and have the spine long, and that means feel the natural curvature of the spine, but let the shoulders drop down the back. So it feels as though the shoulder blades are coming closer together behind the back and the shoulders are resting. Have a sense of not needing to support the head or even the arms. Just let the shoulders rest. Let the face rest, the muscles rest around the eyes, around the ears, around the mouth. And then make sure that the whole body has an even sense of self-attention. So you're paying attention to your whole physical experience. Notice the breath, and as soon as you notice the breath, you can, if it feels good, allow the breath to lengthen and deepen by slightly drawing the abdomen in towards the spine and the pelvic floor up slightly at the end of the exhalation. So you inhale, relax, and let there be plenty of space in the lungs, and you exhale and contract and squeeze the air out slightly without creating any tension anywhere else in the body. Have a sense of smooth evenness between the inhalation and the exhalation. And you can take the attention to the thoughts for this last minute or so of these first 5 minutes of your practice. And again, notice restraint, this ability that you have to step back and disengage from the pressure of one thought leading to the next, leading to the next, leading to the next. All that still goes on, but from a slightly broader perspective, a wider view. And then you can change position, blink if you had the eyes closed, and keep the vision very soft using the peripheral vision as you come onto hands and knees now, and just practice cat-cow. So cat posture means tucking the chin in, and you'll get the beginning of an experience of Jalandhara Bandha, bringing the chin in towards the chest, rounding the shoulders a lot, tucking the tailbone under, squeezing the abs, and feel up towards the solar plexus and tighten the pelvic floor, lifting it. Squeeze the air out of the body here. You may need to take a couple of shallow breaths so that you don't hold your exhalation too long. And then when you're ready, you can reverse the posture, cow pose. So think of the udders of the cow coming down through the belly. Lift the chin up, open the throat, the opposite of Jalandhara Bandha, the opposite of restraint if you like, stretching through the whole solar plexus area and lifting the tailbone up behind, opening the area around the perineum. Again, exhale, squeeze, and inhale. Open, exhale, squeeze. Hold for a moment at the end of the exhalation. Inhale and open, and then return to a neutral position. Pause for a moment, and then tuck your toes under and push the knees just an inch or two off the floor. Lift Mula Bandha, the base lock, squeeze the pelvic floor, lift. Hold for a moment, and you can either bring the knees back to the floor if that was enough, or you can push your tailbone up and back. So you're coming into the same position that you were in for cow pose, more or less, sticking the tailbone into the air, drawing the chest down towards the floor. Bend the knees slightly. Push down on the base of the thumb and the base of the forefinger. And if this causes any difficulty in the wrists, then attempt this with the elbows on the floor, so come into dolphin pose. You can even link the hands here. Great preparation for forearm balance. So stay here for a few breaths, and you can pedal out the feet if you want to. Get a sense of lifting the tailbone more up towards the ceiling, and have a sense as you exhale of Uddiyana Bandha, the lift into, or the restraint in the solar plexus region. So as you exhale, you might want to do a fake inhalation. Just hold here for another moment, and then inhale and exhale, and step the feet forwards now so that you come into a forward bend, Uttanasana, folding forwards over the legs, and just let everything go limp and loose. Keep the knees soft. You might want to sway back and forth, and then bring the hands onto the shins and look forwards, open the chest. Have a slight bend in the knees. You can have the hands above or below the knees, but just don't put the hands on the knee joint. Toes and heels are in line, and you're looking forwards, opening the chest, and then you can do a fake inhalation here. So exhale. As you inhale, draw Uddiyana Bandha in and up. Hold it for a moment, and then inhale, exhale. Try that once more. In and up, holding, drawing up pelvic floor, solar plexus, and even bring the chin in towards the chest. And release. And last time. In and up, holding, and a real inhalation, and then fold forwards again, and finally come all the way back to standing, and bring the hands in front of the chest in prayer position. Bring the chin down towards the chest. Lift the chest up towards the chin, and have a sense of the chin lock, Jalandhara Bandha. So you might notice a sound in the throat as you breathe. You're practicing Ujjayi breathing, if you can hear your breath, a kind of sa, ha sound in the throat. Sa on the inhalation, ha on the exhalation. And then you can release the hands, step the feet, bring the hands into cactus arms, and have the feet pointing out at a 45-degree angle, the knees wide as though you're saddled on an elephant. Sink down into the posture, and then you can bring the hands back in prayer position and lift the pelvic floor here. Get a sense of Mula Bandha here. Sink down lower, hold, and then you can release, straighten the legs. Take the legs 3 to 3.5 feet apart, and lean the spine forwards and bring the right hand down between the legs and the left arm up towards the ceiling. Look up towards the left hand and reverse. And you can feel the turn in the solar plexus here, so you feel Uddiyana Bandha, but you're not holding Uddiyana Bandha. Turn again and again. And you can do this as quickly or as slowly as feels good, getting some stretch through the waist. And then come back up to standing. Turn the toes of the right foot out, the whole of the left leg in towards the right, and reach over and down the right hand to the inside of the right foot if you want, or grab hold of the big toe or take it to the outside of the right foot. Left arm up towards the ceiling. This is Trikonasana, triangle pose. lifting Mula Bandha, opening the throat, and turning at Uddiyana Bandha. If there was a wall behind you, your back and the backs of the legs would be against the wall, and the back of the head would be against the wall. It's a good way to practice this. Inhale and come up and reverse the position of the feet. And reach the arms out and then along towards the left hand down. See if you can have the left hand in the same position as you have the right hand, so either inside the foot or even holding onto the shin or holding onto the big toe, or if you're very flexible, to the outside of the left foot. Right arm reaching up, looking up towards the palm of the right hand, fingers stretched. Feel the stretch all the way through all the limbs of the body. Feel the pelvic floor lifting, turning at the waist, opening at the solar plexus, opening at the throat. Inhale and come up, and then turn back again towards the right. Come back into Trikonasana and then reach the right hand about 6 or 8 inches to the baby toe side and outside the right foot. Bend the right knee, step the left foot in and then reach the left leg out parallel to the spine, or as close as possible to parallel to the spine. Left arm up towards the ceiling, coming into Ardha Chandrasana. Half moon pose, opening, lifting Mula Bandha. Again, getting even more openness in the throat and in Uddiyana. You might want to squeeze the belly at the end of the exhalation as you steady yourself here. Looking up towards the ceiling if possible. If your balance isn't so good, look down towards the floor. Release back to Trikonasana and then back to standing. Stand for a moment, steady yourself in your breathing, and then turn the feet to the other side. Go into Trikonasana first, and then reach for Ardha Chandrasana. Left hand to the outside of the baby toe side of the left foot. Right arm either on the waist or reaching up towards the ceiling. Turning, extending, feeling energy right through the toes, right through the feet and fingertips. So you're stretching the energy from the restraint on out. And remember, restraining in this sense is stepping back from, telling yourself that the buck stops here. And you can watch the flow of emotions, of activity, internal and external, without needing to control it. Release, come back to Trikonasana and then back to standing. Again, pause for a moment, step the feet together, arms down by the sides. And we'll come into Vriksasana, tree pose. So root down through the left leg, coming into a good Tadasana, shoulders down and back, centered, grounded, feeling down into your hara, your center of gravity, about 2 inches below the navel. And also finding a point of focus if you want to. And then taking the right foot as far up the left leg as feels comfortable, perhaps to the inside of the ankle, the inside of the shin, or you can help the heel right up to the inside of the opposite thigh. You can have the palms together in front of the chest, or you can reach the arms up towards the ceiling. You can bring the palms together or have the hands about shoulder width apart. Drop the shoulders, extend through the sides of the body, and see if you feel good bringing the chin down towards the chest, or the chest up towards the chin. Even better, practicing Jalandhara Bandha, lifting Mula Bandha, feeling into Uddiyana Bandha. You're holding yourself steady here. Release and reverse. Rooting through the right leg, bringing the left leg into position, and then palms either in front of the chest or reaching up, shoulders down, face relaxed. Breath long and smooth. The great thing about Jalandhara Bandha, it makes you very aware of your breathing, and you're restraining the breath. And release, and then turn the toes out. You can take the feet wider if you want to. Bring the palms together in front of the chest, and come down into a squat. And you're lifting Mula Bandha in the squat. And then sit back into Baddha Konasana. tailor pose, with the soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. And you can lift the pelvic floor, and then you can adopt an easy cross-legged position. Just remember which foot you have in front or which foot you have on the opposite thigh if you're going into a half lotus, so that you reverse the next time. So we'll practice Mahabandha here. That's the 3 locks all together. Spine nice and long. First get in touch with your breathing, and then when you're ready, inhale where you are, exhale completely, and then instead of inhaling, just lift the pelvic floor, lift Uddiyana Bandha, lift Jalandhara Bandha. Bring the chin down to the chest and hold the breath out and release. Take a breath or two here, and this time as you hold, feel as though you're attuning to compassion. So you're allowing love to do what needs to be done through you, becoming a conduit for compassion. So you've stepped back from your day-to-day involvement, your reactive involvement in activity. Exhale, lift Mula Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha, and hold. May love work through me. May I step back and attune to compassion. May I step back and attune to compassion. And release. Take a breath or two, and then once more in your own time, lifting Mahabandha, attuning to compassion, attuning to compassion. Stepping back into the bowl of compassion. Release, and you can release the legs, soles of the feet on the floor, knees bent, lie back. Come into Setu Bandha, bridge pose. So, pause for a moment, draw the shoulders down the back. Arms alongside the body, palms facing down. Inhale here, exhale, tuck the tailbone under slightly, feel the pelvic floor lift, and then lift the pelvis up towards the ceiling if that feels appropriate. And keep holding Mula Bandha. Release the buttocks. And notice Jalandhara Bandha comes into play automatically. Slowly release down. Rest for a moment. And then you can come up once more if you want to. You can bring the feet closer towards the buttocks. Feet about hip width apart. Toes in, heels out. Holding onto the ankles. If you feel that works for you, holding the posture, holding Mula Bandha, Jalandhara Bandha, and then slowly releasing. And now you can rest in Shavasana. Release all the locks, undo all the locks. Feel as though you are freeing yourself from this locked-in experience, locked-down experience. You can see what is happening from a broader point of view, no longer attempting to control the things over which you have no control, and attune to your attitude. Scan your body. Go into this silence for a moment. Scan your breath. Scan your thoughts. All the time, continuously stepping back. If you have a sankalpa, repeat it mentally, internally, 3 times with belief and assurance, as though it were already happening. This is happening now. Another minute here. Hari Om Tat Sat. To slowly move the toes, the feet, and the ankles, the hands, wrists, and fingers. Roll the head gently from side to side. You can bring knees up towards the chest and rock gently. And then bring the soles of the feet back onto the floor, right arm up towards the ceiling, roll over onto your right side, pause for a moment. And then push up to sitting. And just sit. Notice any difference in your awareness. Without expectation, without judgment. Just being prepared to be a conduit for compassion, whatever that means to you. Namaste. Hello,